Hello one and all, and welcome to a new series that we're kind of sort of maybe going to be doing consistently. I don't know yet. It's some sort of talk about Rwby podcast sort of thing, I guess. Not the best intro, never been great at those. I am the Max Few Trades, and with me is...
I'm YourOnlyMate, and I'm not too good at intros either.
Exactly. So we're going to probably cut the fat and maybe just jump straight into talking about the latest episode of Rwby. A few things.
Sounds good to me.
A few things before we do, though, however, is one, we're starting basically in the middle of Season 5, which is weird, but that's because we didn't really think about doing this sort of thing before. So,
no, we did not.
Yeah, so we're kind of late on that, although there's a possibility we can talk about, like, prior seasons and stuff in independent videos, perhaps. Maybe during...
Yeah, like, maybe when Volume 5 is over.
Yeah.
And just... talk about something during, like, the season. Unless you want to talk about Rwby GB.
We could also do that, too.
I was just joking with that, but...
Honestly, I don't mind.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind either.
Yeah. And the other thing I would quickly bring up is we technically did one of these for episode 4, but due to my general incompetence, it's basically unlistenable too. I messed up I messed up the audio settings.
Too.
I mean, you can hear me fine, but otherwise you're just gonna hear him very, very faintly in the background.
I'm just that quiet voice inside Max's head.
Yeah, that's no good. The truth comes out. Anyway, where would you like to begin with Volume 5, Chapter 5? There we go.
I suppose at the beginning.
That would make sense.
We have Blake and Sun going out and asking people to sign up for their cause. Very literally.
Yeah, running around trying to get people to help, fight the good fight and what have you. But they're having trouble because no one wants to. No one wants to go and fight and potentially die for a cause that they don't think involves them in any conceivable way. So, I mean, I guess I understand their perspective in that regard. But Blake does have a good point that it will eventually affect them one way or the other.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see where both sides are coming from.
Well,
it's kind of like...
Basically, they're asking these people to sign up and fight and hope and possibly die to help people who they think are very, prejudiced against them. They almost convinced one guy, but then his mom said no.
Yeah, he gets dragged away. Mom!
Which was funny.
Yeah. And then you had that guy try and cut down the tree the Sun was hanging on.
Yeah, Sun's really not having the easiest time of it.
Yeah. Does he ever, though?
No. I think that's the joke. Like, the joke is, with Sun, in his entirety, is like, he's like a ridiculously cool guy, but nothing good ever happens to him.
Nah.
Certainly would make sense. Like a less exaggerated Neptune.
Yeah, talking to Neptune, we have not seen him in a long time.
No. And I doubt we will for a while. I'm honestly I'm actually kind of questioning if he'll ever come back.
No, I think he will, because in Volume 4, Sun said that him, Scarlet, and Sage are going to Mistral. He said he'd catch up with him.
Oh, well, that would be nice. If for no other reason
What if we see them with Rwby and the others? Like, they just show up.
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I'm totally cool with it, especially if it means actually seeing the other two members of Team Sun again.
Yeah, because we barely see them.
We saw them in one episode, really.
Well, technically in 3, I think. Like, once in Volume 2, but they were just kind of there in the background.
Right, I mean, I'm talking about, like, the one episode where we saw Team Sun fight.
Yeah, and then there was that episode near the end where we saw, like, a bunch of them fighting.
Right, yeah, but they're not the focus.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know a little bit more about them. Anyway.
Yeah. All I know about Scarlet is that he's voiced by Gavin Free.
Yes, I know that much, which is good.
Which is why I want to see him interact with Sun more, because, well, he's voiced by Michael, and come on! Team Nice Dynamite! Mavin! Give me some of that!
It's pretty funny. Anyway, as you might imagine from this rather turbulent experience, Blake and Sun are kind of downtrodden and angry about the fact that ain't nobody gonna be helping them.
Nah, yeah.
But then, Sun decides to change the topic into a newer, more awkward topic.
Yeah,
where he...
So...
Yeah, go ahead.
Adam is the guy you used to... work with?
Yeah. Like, I love how unsmooth he is in every regard. But Blake confirms, yeah, that was definitely a thing at one point. She is not fond of that fact.
I mean, we kind of already knew that was a thing.
It was heavily implied.
But... No, and it was flat out confirmed in Volume 3.
It was?
Well, considering that Adam calls her, and I quote, my love,
I guess
and
so.
darling.
But at the same time, I mean, he could just be, I don't know, by Blake's
being creepy.
By Blake's own admission, he's been going further off the deep end over time.
Oh, yeah, true.
So I guess it's sort of possible he could have been interpreting things in a way that weren't actually factual. But, I mean, that would be kind of a stretch, and I don't know why they would go that route unless, yeah, okay, it was a thing. Blake confirms it, regrets it. But she does give a little bit more...
Then again, who wouldn't regret?
Oh, absolutely.
Regret that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I stopped talking there.
It's okay. She does go into a bit more detail about said past, and how Adam originally wasn't all that bad, really.
But then he showed his true colors.
Well, it's not just that, it's also the fact that he just sort of... I mean, this is how it works with, like, most people in the world. It's that you start off one way, with good intentions, and slowly but surely you find yourself sliding somewhere completely different without even realizing it.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think there's even any chance of redemption for Adam at this point.
I don't think so either. I mean, abusing Blake was bad. Like,
and at one point even trying to kill her.
Yes, that was really, really bad. And then, I mean, at that point, it would take a lot to be forgiven by anybody. But then he tries to actually straight up kill her. Then he cuts off Yang's arm, and at that point, I feel like...
No, that was the other way around.
Oh, the other way around, you're right. No.
Oh, no. He impaled her.
He impaled
cut
her.
off Yang's arm, and then tried to cut Blake's head off.
Right. So, at that point, I think...
Fortunately, it was just a shadow clone.
Yes. Oh, man, when my dad saw that scene, because my parents watched Rwby, just for the record.
Oh, boy.
And when my dad saw that scene, well, Blake is his favorite character, and he was like, no! He's just like... He got so upset for a minute there, and I was like, no, it's okay, it's a shadow clone. He was like, thank God.
I remember when I first saw that scene, I was just dead silent.
It was like...
And then I was so happy it was a shadow clone.
It's like, man, first they killed the cute robot girl, and now this is happening? This is bull.
And that's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Well, I'm quoting my dad, so...
Oh, okay.
So, I'm fitting... I find that fitting enough. Either way. So, yeah, at that point, I imagine in most fans' interpretations that they probably weren't ever going to let Adam live that down.
Yeah, honestly, like, I've been to Comic-Con and screenings for Rwby volumes, and when I meet Rwby fans there, they tend to say the exact same thing about Adam.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it was possible he might have been able to redeem himself at some point, but then it just kept happening. And then recently he just straight up murders somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty heavily implied that that's something he's probably done a lot of before, but that's the first time we actually straight up see it.
Also, he seems to be a fan of impaling people.
Yeah, that seems to be his entire thing. I mean, I get that he has a sword, but he could be a little more creative. And it's always a gut stab.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, you realize that's, like, stabbing someone there, well, inherently not, obviously, immediately fatal. If you can't get immediate, like, medical attention, it's a very slow and painful way to die.
Maybe that's how he just likes killing people, just wants to drag it out and make it as painful as possible for them.
Makes sense. I mean, he is a complete and total sadist at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But
which is why all those fans I've mentioned say the exact same thing, which is, and I quote, Adam needs to die.
He does. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about him once the ending scene goes about. But what I want to at least briefly touch on is actually the very touching scene where, before Blake ends up having to go into talking about Adam again, she mentions that basically she considers most people to be the definition of a single word in her mind.
Yeah, and I love how she defines the rest of Team Rwby.
Mm-hmm.
Rwby is purity, Weiss is defiance, and Yang is strength.
Yeah. And she's thinking Sun is earnest, which is...
But the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, but that was also kind of half and half jokey. Either way, it's still touching.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that, you know... I mean, it's obvious that Blake still likes her old teammates. She has no reason not to. She ran away for the explicit purpose of not letting them get hurt from her problems, which is the dumb way of going about it, but...
But then again, like, what other choices did she reasonably have?
I know. I mean, I get where she's coming from, but it's definitely going to be an awkward situation when she's finally reunited with everybody.
I mean, then again, I don't know.
It's hard to tell. It's kind of hard to say.
I mean, we always thought Yang would be going towards Rwby, but then it was heavily implied that she was going to Raven instead.
Yeah, and then we got swerved.
Yeah, so for all we know, everyone could just be super happy to see Blake when they finally reunite. I know Ruby's definitely going to be.
Rwby has the least reason to be upset with Blake. I mean, it's still a valid reason to be kind of but I mean, Rwby is Rwby.
Yeah,
she's really.
She'll just be happy to
see her
happy
again.
To see someone.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. Weiss would also. I think she'd be happy to see. Weiss would be happy to see Blake, but she would be.
She'd be happy to see anyone.
Right, but at the same time, I feel like there would be at least a little tinge of like, man, why you had to go and do that, especially considering. I mean, she had that argument with Blake back like in Volume 1.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a different kind of situation.
It's a different kind of context, but basically that is the lesson that Blake was supposed to have learned from that situation, was to trust the team. But like I said, I'm sure even if that is a thing, it'll blow over pretty quickly. I imagine the most animosity will probably be from Yang, at least for a little while.
Yeah. Although I still think back to the time in Volume 1 where she ran off and Weiss was the one mad at her. She just took the time to think everything through, so I'm wondering if...
Right.
I mean, considering the time skip, maybe Yang could have done that too, and
Yang has had a lot of time to think about stuff. All we know about Yang's mindscape right now is that she wants to get to Rwby and help her. The fact that she found Weiss is just it
was a complete accident.
A freakishly nice coincidence.
Aside from Weiss getting kidnapped part.
Well, yeah, no, that part's bad, but, I mean, they get reunited as a result, so, I mean, look for the bright side, I guess.
And, like, we brought this up in the recording we did for Chapter 4, but I still think this is amazingly appropriate.
Yeah, go ahead.
For those who are familiar with Max's channel, might know that there was a Rwby Grim Eclipse LP a while back, which I was in, and Max was playing as Weiss, I was playing as Yang.
He was. How
fitting is it that we're doing this, and the first members of Team Rwby to reunite are the ones that we were playing as?
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the failed recording, we briefly talked about how that was definitely probably the least expected first reunion, combination out of everybody.
Yeah, I think everyone was expecting either Rwby and Weiss, Blake and Yang, or
even maybe
Rwby and Yang.
Yeah, Rwby and Yang. I mean, even Rwby and Blake somehow seemed slightly more possible than Weiss and Yang for some reason in my mind, even though it really doesn't.
I mean, I could kind of see that.
Like, I don't geographically it would make absolutely no sense unless they had like a super jet to get over to where Rwby was. But
you never know. Her dad lives in a massive house. He could have like some secret underground basement where he has like a Quinjet from the MCU or something.
Yeah, that's possible. Anyway, after that honestly mixed bag of emotions that was the first scene, it kind of dabbled a little bit into the comedy at first, but then it got dark, but then it kind of got happy a little bit more towards the end. It was weird.
It was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes. I didn't get the permission slip signed for this field trip. Either way, the next scene starts, and we get ourselves Rwby and Oscar. Oscar's, you know, obviously trying to get better.
And he's talking about how he feels like he has the cane for, well, longer than his whole life.
Yeah, because, you know, that's kind of how the whole shared existence thing sort of works, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how many people Ozpin has been, but, like...
Well, he's been doing this for, like, thousands of years, right?
Right. Well, the thing is, he said that that wasn't his, like, first or obviously last form. So what I'm trying to think is this how it always works? Like, the person that he currently is dies, then who he is goes into a new person and has to, like, introduce themselves to this new person and what their new life is?
Also, I like how he waits, like, 6 to 8 months before, well, doing it. Or maybe it takes 6 or 8 months for him to actually reincarnate into another person's mind.
It's possible. We don't really know exactly how that works. It could take a while for the effects to take place. We don't really know. It's just speculation, and honestly, it's not that important.
We just know at the moment it's basically Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, at this current moment in time, I imagine at some point Ozpin, as we know him, will sort of just kind of get absorbed into Oscar's, like, being, I guess. And they'll basically become one person. Because, I mean, if Ozpin was more than one person when we knew him, then I feel like we would have noticed.
I gotta say that... Oh, wait, no, hold on. There was a scene in Chapter 3 of Volume 1 where they were kind of talking about how Ozpin didn't exactly seem like himself.
Huh.
Like when he was given that welcoming speech.
Well, I guess it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible that could have been like a really early hint at it.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt... I'm pretty sure this entire thing about Ozpin was decided from, like, the very beginning.
Oh yeah, when they started the series, Monty planned out everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And you went through it with Miles and Carrie, like, okay, so this is gonna happen here, this character's gonna be introduced here.
Right.
They just went through everything.
Right. Anywho, so Rwby, you know, goes downstairs, and she talks to Oscar for a while, and, you know, she's her usual adorable, peppy self. And the thing is, that makes Oscar kind of, like, a combination of frustratingly confused, because it's like, you know, this is friggin' terrifying.
Yeah, the world's about to go to war, people have tried to kill you.
Like, there's nothing good about the situation right now. How are you so positive and optimistic about everything? And I feel like this might be, like, the first time Rwby herself has really, I guess, maybe shown that more vulnerable side to her.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw her break down and cry, you know, after Penny got killed, but this is more, but that's more like a reactionary thing. This is more of a kind of a quiet reflection, Rwby, and I don't think we've ever actually seen that from her.
No, we haven't, and like we've talked about this before. I still think at some point Ruby's gonna have this like big breakdown.
Yeah, like eventually, eventually everything that's happened up to that point is just gonna like snap her in half briefly. She'll get pulled out of it, but everyone has
definitely.
Everyone has a breaking point.
And I've heard Lindsay talk about this as well, how Ruby's kind of that person who, whatever's going on with her, like, just doesn't matter to her. If her friends need her help, then she'll put them before her.
Yeah, and I feel like that's eventually gonna wear her down.
Yeah, it will. Most probably.
And then things get real sad for a little while, where Rwby actually talks about Penny and Pyrrha for the first time, at least from our perspective. And
yeah, after saying Penny's catchphrase.
Yeah, that's what makes her get sad.
Yeah, and then having that little realization.
Yeah, I had the realization before even she did, and I was like, oh, now I'm sad.
Is it weird that I actually had it somewhat the same time, I think?
Well, it makes sense. It's like
I don't know, I haven't actually started editing my reaction to that yet.
Yeah, so. I feel like it was definitely more of a coincidence. But yeah, so she actually talks about them, and of course she's incredibly emotionally devastated by what happened.
Well, yeah, you would be as well.
Yeah, I mean, she says it herself, like, she didn't really know either of them for really that long, but it was still, like, immeasurably painful, and she generally says the same kind of things you hear people who end up in the kind of same situation she is. I mean, in a more realistic sense. It's like, of course she thinks about them every day, and that she wishes she spent more time with them when they were around, and that she has all of those regrets.
Yeah.
But she is able to, kind of bring herself back up, because what in her mind, and I definitely agree with this, is that if it were her instead of them, they, while obviously would have also been very saddened, would eventually, like, keep fighting.
Yeah. And
to basically give up and stop would be kind of, I don't know, in her mind, I think it's sort of a betraying sort of thing. It's like, because that's not what they would have wanted.
No. No, definitely not.
Yeah. And then, just in case you weren't entirely, like, already feeling incredibly depressed, Rwby says something at the very end of her little moment. She says, "Keep moving forward."
And I love the fact that they have her say that.
No, it was a brilliant idea to have her say that, but it doesn't make it any less heart-wrenching.
I know it doesn't, but I just like whenever that phrase gets said.
No, I like it too. It's just, no, in every sense of the word, it was the perfect time to say that.
Yeah, it really
and anybody
was.
In the know will understand it, and they'll be like, yeah, I guess so. But still, like, ugh. But I don't know. I actually have, I've always liked Rwby as a character, but I really liked this episode because it actually, I don't know, we got to see a different side to her that we never get to see before.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand that.
Yeah, and we get to see how it is she manages to cope with things. It's not like these things don't affect her. She's just really good at not letting it get to her. At least publicly.
Yeah.
So. Anything else you wanted to say about that scene?
Well, I mean, they even, almost immediately just had a joke after that.
Yeah.
About eating everything.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time. Well,
nah.
Yeah, there had to be at least a small amount of levity after that.
Yeah, and then we got that moment between Oscar and Osborn. Like, wow, she must have been one of the best huntresses at Beacon.
And in a way, yes.
In a way, yes. But in others, no.
Yeah. But I liked that. It's basically saying, yeah, Rwby is a pretty awesome person. But, she's not perfect. Nobody is.
She still has her flaws, everyone does.
She's still a young teenage girl.
Yeah.
Although I am curious if we'll ever see what Rwby is like, in the future. I'm hoping at like the end of this series, there's a kind of sort of epilogue. Where we just...
I can see that happening.
Because I would like to at least, once everything is said and done and the evil has been thwarted, which I can only assume is what's going to happen.
You basically want to see adult Rwby.
Yeah, or any of the characters, really. They don't even have to be in any, super action scenes or anything. I'd just like to see what becomes of them.
Where their lives end up.
Right. So, that was pretty great.
Oh, and there's someone I want to bring up while we were on the topic of Rwby and Oscar / cute boy husband talking, as he was named by Nora.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people... I even saw this in Volume 4. People were shipping Rwby and Oscar.
Yeah.
Again, before they even interacted.
Yeah. Well, people were just kind of expecting something like that to end up happening. I think mostly due to the fact that, one, everybody knew they were going to eventually meet.
And, yeah, definitely.
And two, the fact that they're, I want to say, basically the same age.
No, I think at this point Rwby's 16 and Oscar is 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because I completely forgot about that. Yeah, she was 15 when the show started, and after the time skip, it passed over fall, which would have had her birthday. Yep. Okay. Then yeah, I guess she would be 16.
Well, I mean, there's no guarantee that her birthday happened. Oh no, wait, it must have because
it's
we
Halloween.
know her birthday is Halloween.
Yeah.
So she was going around just saying to her friends, "Hey, it's my birthday.
Stop being depressed, Yang. Birthday." It didn't work.
That probably would have been the wrong time to.
That would have been a very darkly humorous thing. That sounds almost like something Chibi would do, but then they decide not to.
I don't think Rwby would do that when Yang was going through,
I know, but I'm imagining the scene in my head, and it's making me laugh.
Okay, then, and I was going to mention when you brought up how Oscar and Osborn were basically merged into one person. Doesn't that kind of make Rose Garden that much creepier?
Yes, that is the thing. When I first, I don't know, I saw what people were going with, at first I thought, I mean, yeah, they haven't even met yet, but okay, I kind of get it, right? But but then when it became obvious that eventually, I'm pretty sure Oscar will basically become what he used to be with all of his previous lives, and at that point, it does definitely get kind of creepy.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not judging anyone who does ship the two.
I mean, as characters as they are right now, I understand why people would. I mean, it does not take much for people to ship two characters together.
No, you could ship literally anyone with anything.
Exactly.
If you really
exactly. I'm sure I've seen everything at this point. Every combination I can possibly think of, no matter how insanely stupid they are.
Yeah.
So, I guess that was kind of a rude way to put it, but the point is, I get where people are coming from. Personally, I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't personally ship those two, but hey, I won't judge. You do you.
Yeah, whatever happens. I mean, whatever.
Although, do we have a Rwby OTP of our own? I don't mean with Rwby, I just mean in the series Rwby.
Oh, okay, it's like with Rwby herself? No, actually. I mean, I'm a realist. I don't really like to speculate on stuff like that. So I'd have to be like super boring and say, the only one that's actually canon, which is Ren and Nora.
Oh yeah, that ship has sailed.
Yeah. That's a reinforced battle tank. But so, when everything else, it's all up to interpretation and speculation.
Yeah, kind of like with mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that yours isn't possible.
Bumblebee?
Yeah. A lot of people like that idea. And
including Aaron Zach and Barbara Dunkelman.
Yes.
I'm not saying that increased the odds
that doesn't, happening. Because I'm sure whatever is going to happen in the story is going to happen in the story. And I don't think they're going to change anything to accommodate that. Which is why I think they keep, kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, have, make tiny allusions to it in outside material.
Yeah. And although I guess it also depends on, it absolutely does depend on how everything plays out with Monty's vision.
Exactly.
I mean, they kept Torchwick around because he was so popular.
Exactly. But... So, I mean, in a way, it's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible if that was ultimately what Monty has always intended for the characters, then fine. I'm totally...
Actually, I remember
totally cool with that.
Hearing in a commentary do you remember that scene where Blake and Yang had that talk in Volume 2 and they hugged and she was like, "I'm not asking you to stop, I'm just telling you to slow down."
Yeah. That's basically...
Which is one of my favorite scenes in the whole series, just saying.
Yeah, that's basically where the whole thing really caught fire.
No, it caught fire long before that.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I guess I just don't go to that side of the fandom often enough.
Neither do I. I heard it on a podcast.
Yeah, alright, well. Anyway, you were saying about the commentary.
Yeah, Monty was saying maybe that was something that they could revisit.
Well,
perhaps in a more mature way.
A lot of things I could say. I'm not going to say any of them. The point is...
I'm not saying I wouldn't be up for seeing that. But I
find the idea... Look, imply all you want. I don't really want to see any of the characters doing anything with any other character.
So you don't even want to see them high five?
You know what I meant.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I mean, yeah, it is due to my just general aversion to, I don't know, explicit romance in anything.
I mean, they did say, like, when Volume 3 was going on, that Rwby is going to get, like, a bit darker and more mature as it goes on, like Harry Potter did.
True,
but
true.
I don't think it's ever going to go that far.
Like, that's what I thought. I was like, I don't think it would ever go there.
Yeah, because, I mean, if they do that, odds are they're probably going to get flagged off of YouTube.
I mean, that's kind of the last of the long-lasting problems with that idea, but yeah, that is something that would happen.
And, I mean, it would also affect, like, the financial gain of, like, Bruce Teeth, and therefore affect the series. And...
Yeah, I don't know how people would respond to that. But, anyway, that's talking about something... Like, we really went off tangent there, but
but we do that. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it is fine. But we should probably get to at least to the last scene of the episode where.
Before we do, there's a couple weapons that I noticed in the background of the Rwby and Oscar talk. There's a sword that kind of looks like Cloud's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII,
as opposed to Cloud's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy II.
Yeah, I only know Final Fantasy VII mostly.
No, the joke is that's the only Final Fantasy Cloud is.
Okay,
from.
Yeah. I didn't get that because I'm not too familiar with the Final Fantasies.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. Continue.
Just Cloud and Tifa.
I was just making fun of you. It's fine.
I'm used. I should get used to it by now.
Yeah, you really should.
Anyway, and there was also a hammer that looked like it resembled Mjolnir.
Yeah. Itty bitty little hammer.
Why do I want to see Nora hold that?
For all the obvious reasons. She's based off Thor.
Yeah, that was the obvious reason.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did notice that. Usually in nerd-related media, whenever you see like a weaponry store or something, like if you look in the background, there's almost always going to be like some fictional character's weapon stashed in in somewhere.
Yeah, and honestly, like references to other series just hidden, I like to spot those.
Yeah, those are just fun.
Yeah, like I mean, this is from a series I don't watch, and I only know about this from watching a commentary, but in the very first chapter of Rwby, there's a Doctor Who scarf.
I didn't even notice. But it's been a while since I've seen Volume 1.
Oh yeah, me too. I should marathon like everything at some point.
Yeah, might as well.
It's not like... everything aside from Volume 5 on Blu-ray, so...
Yeah, obviously. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. So... Alright, so then the final scene is with the two guys, the two white Fang guys, who I don't know the names of.
Me neither. And heads up for everyone, I say the F word a lot during this scene in my reaction.
Oh dear.
I should have account for it.
How risque. Anyway, the thing I was going to say is I'm totally sure that their names have been said at least once. But we don't care. But I don't remember them, so I've always actually internally referred to them as the Komodo brothers, who are a boss in the Crash Bandicoot series.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that's what I think, but I don't know, because they're not even reptilian, but I don't know, for some reason that's the first thing I think of when I think of those characters.
Hey, fair enough.
And we actually learn a fair amount of stuff from this scene, all things considered. So, basically, they get a message from Adam, and Adam is kind of, sort of, you know, swinging wildly back and forth from being completely insane and actually being competent.
Boy.
Well, to the point where even the guys themselves are like, he seems unwell.
Yeah, you know, there's a theory I heard about Adam, but I'll wait a while before I bring it up.
Sure. And I actually liked that they basically pointed out, it's like, alright, well, here's the thing. He's fine for now, but if he does get out of line, we can get rid of him.
Please get rid of him now.
No, and I just like that, because it implies that...
Yeah, I know.
No, it implies that while Adam is technically the leader of the White Fang right now, it doesn't mean that he is, you know, really that big a deal.
He can easily be tossed aside later.
Right, he's just an angry dude who is currently in a position of power that is advantageous to people right now. But he can be
So who's really pulling the strings in the White Fang?
That I'm not entirely certain of. It was Blake all along. Dun dun dun.
She has the evil side corrupt from within.
Oh man, that would be the most esoterically random swerve for the sake of a swerve ever. But
then again, if that happens, you heard it here first. We called it.
Oh yeah.
So pick up that phone.
If Blake was evil, we called it first.
No, I'm saying the evil side of the White Fang gets corrupted, and you know she's trying to turn the White Fang into what it originally was.
Well, I mean, we can always...
She still has the old flag.
She does. As we all know, red and black is evil, white and blue is good. Gotta get rid of the evil flag and put up the good guy flag. Despite, really, the coloration being the only difference. Anyway. So, then we get Chameleon Girl. She shows up.
Ilya.
Yes, her. She shows up, and she's all like, yo, what's happening? And they're like, not much, what up with you? You know, typical stuff. And then, they're like, so hey, we got this idea. And then she's all like, hit me. And they're all like, well, okay, here's the thing. We know that you, like, know this Blake girl. Could you, like, go distract her so a bunch of people can break into her house and kill her parents? And she's like...
My fears from Volume 4 might be realized.
Yeah, and then Ilya is all like, huh, I mean, I could, but I don't really want to. I do
like how she seems hesitant about it, but doesn't say anything.
Exactly. No, that's the thing. This is the critical moment in Ilya's existence as a character. What she does next is basically going to how she is going to be interpreted by the fandom for the rest of time.
If she does what they tell her, then everyone will hate her. If she turns around and helps Blake and turns good, which I'm hoping is happening.
I would like that too, because I feel like there's enough evil guys running around doing stuff.
Yeah, then everyone will like her.
And I like the idea of Ilya breaking free of the, what is essentially indoctrination.
Yeah,
I mean, she's been fed misinformation for such an extended period of time that it seems unthinkable to imagine that what she's been doing all this time is wrong. But you can be salvaged from that, and considering we've already seen enough indoctrinated like White Fang members, it'd be nice to have...
We've seen Blake.
Yeah, I know, but we've also we've seen we can basically infer that that's kind of how the whole system works. Basically, the White Fang has devolved into like an evil cult.
Yeah, it really has.
So, I'd like to see her turn to the side of good, but yeah, this is her turn to either pull a heel face turn or to cross the moral event horizon.
Yeah, so because is she going to...
If she inadvertently or purposefully gets Blake's parents killed, no one is ever going to forgive her.
No. Yeah, I will not forgive her for that, because, no, I like Mama and Papa Belladonna. Please don't take them away.
They're actually kind of nice, and it's like the first, like, fully constructed, non-dysfunctional family we've seen on the show.
I mean, this closest, considering that Blake hasn't seen her parents in how long?
A while, yes. But yes, true. But yes, but when she got back, they were fine with it, and they reconciled. There was a little awkwardness, but they're fine now. I feel like it's safe to say.
I still love that moment between her and her dad.
Yes, that was a really good moment.
Yeah.
So,
don't take them away.
Warmer in Beacon.
Let them live.
I love that line so much, because that's such a dad thing. It's like, your outfit's not really covering much.
As she like crosses her arms, like it covers plenty.
I know. I love that scene. It's just so classic, and I never, out of all the characters, I never would have expected it would have been like Blake to have that conversation with her father. Yeah. So,
I guess not.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then I think Lana Pator showed up and said he murdered a dude.
Yeah.
And that's when they were all like, "Yay, you murdered the messenger. Good, all right." And then the episode ended, and we were just kind of left with our thoughts.
The amount of times I said, but I don't want to say it during this recording, but
yeah, no, I get
the amount of times I said the F word, and that's the whole scene, either towards those two white Fang guys or Adam.
Yeah.
I should have a counter when I edit that.
Yeah, you should. But it's kind of funny. But that's that hologram with Adam. It's like he really does start off unhinged before trying to like get his composure back. Like he really did not take Blake leaving well.
No, he didn't. Just Joe.
It's like just like Jesus, dude. You need to chill.
Yeah, chill the hell out. You prick.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope.
And that's me really sugarcoating it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope the Komodo brothers have something bad happen to them, because me too. They're just so slimy. They're all like, yes, evil things. We're gonna go conspiratize. Like, and they got that weird, creepy twin thing going on.
Yeah, it's like
where they're the same dude.
How did people see these two and not immediately think they're evil?
Yeah, we've seen them talk to people that they're trying to convince that aren't evil, and they aren't convincing.
Yeah, like
they are like the textbook definition of creepy twins.
Yeah, although at least they don't speak in unison.
Okay, but alright, but if they ever do, like, I'm sure they're gonna end up in a fight scene at some point, and when they do, if they start talking at the same time, I'm gonna flip.
Oh, please do a reaction if that's the case. I want to see you do a flip.
I might.
Wait, front or back?
I'll let the winds tell me what at the time.
Okay, piece of advice, front flip is easier.
I'm well aware of that. Also, less likely to land on your head.
Yeah.
No one wants to die via backflip.
Nope.
Anywho, that's essentially the play-by-play of Volume 5, Chapter 5.
Shall I bring up that theory about Adam?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I saw this in the comments, I believe it was Volume 5, Chapter 2. I'm not saying I full on believe this theory, I just think like the representation this person brought up is interesting, and there are some things that do somewhat hint to it happening.
You don't necessarily believe it, but you could also see
But I'm open to it.
Okay. There's some validation in there. Alright, what is it?
And the theory is that Adam is secretly a human.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've told you about this in a non-recorded
discussion. We did talk about this earlier, and I can sort of see it. I mean, I'm open to it being a thing, because, I mean, Adam's entire thing is basically being a massive hypocrite anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean...
Like, speaking of him being a hypocrite, we mentioned how he tried to kill Blake. He was always talking about, oh, bring her to me alive, but I have a promise to keep to destroy everything she loves. Then why did you try and kill her at one point?
Yeah. Even if there wasn't the attempted decapitation, which is definitely what his intent was, there was the gut stab, which could have killed her too.
Yeah, it really could have.
So, he is...
Although, if anything, that shows that Blake is way tougher than Sienna was.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Sienna got impaled and then, well, she died. Blake got impaled. She was still able to carry Yang out of there.
You're right.
Like, completely off the ground and everything.
I wonder how much aura had to do with that.
I always had this theory that maybe Adam's sword, like, just is made of a material that bypasses or nullifies aura.
It's possible, but at the same time...
because remember, we didn't see Blake or Yang's aura break.
No, we didn't.
At all.
Exactly, and I think you have a point there, but at the same time, I feel like... Here's the thing, when Yang got her arm cut off, and we didn't see, like, any blood, it was just, like, her yellow aura just kind of shooting out.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We didn't see any blood like that, and the same thing happened with Blake. We didn't really see the blood, so I think it means that the aura was kind of keeping them together, whereas when we saw Sienna get stabbed, there was blood.
Oh, yeah.
There was blood on the sword, which implies that her aura was down at the time, I think. Otherwise, I think we would have seen something kind of similar. That's why it was like a sneak attack!
Yeah. Boy, Adam got way more dangerous.
Yeah. If their aura isn't up, they're significantly more prone to stabbing.
Or even if it is, and Adam has that sword, then...
Because we're not completely sure the extent of what aura is completely capable of. We know it protects, and it serves as, like, a minor healing factor.
Well, for now, they did say you can...
No, you can do a whole lot more with it, obviously, yes. But I just feel like it's kind of safe to assume that in the case of, like, otherwise full-on fatal blows... it can kind of sort of hold you together for a little while, at least.
I mean, it did that with Blake.
Yeah, no, it did that with Blake. I mean, I imagine it, like, kind of sort of closed up the wound a little bit, at least, to prevent the...
Although she still had the bandages, like, around her gut.
She did. No,
Yin Yang got treatment.
Yeah, you'd still need to get, like, medical attention, but I think the aura is capable of being able to at least give you more time to get help, depending on the wound in question.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably that's what was. I mean,
that's just my theory, at least.
Yeah, fair enough. And talking of theories, back to the Adam one.
I mean, at first I kind of believed you, like almost immediately, because I was like, yeah, you know, I've never seen anything animalistic about Adam at all. And then you said he had horns, and I was like, he does? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh. I just thought that was weird hair.
I mean, okay, truth be told, when I first saw the Black trailer, that's what I thought too. Hell, when I first saw the Black trailer, I thought Blake's bow was cat ears.
Yeah, the models weren't exactly as pristine or detailed as they should be at the time.
Yeah, but then, when I watched Volume 1, Chapter 3, and Yang said to Blake, I like your bow, it goes great with your pajamas. I mean, right after she said bow, I go, wait, that's a bow? And I look at it, and I go back to the trailer, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so stupid.
Like, oh yeah, what do you know? That is a bow. But yeah, I never noticed Adam's horns before. I don't even know what they're supposed to be horns of.
I think bull, considering his name is Taurus.
Well, yeah, but they're not nearly long enough to be bull horns.
Also, aren't they facing the wrong way?
Also true. So they would be incredibly tiny, reversed bull horns in that case.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were, like, full-on, like, straight-up horns, then, like, yeah, okay, I get it. But then, I mean, the only reason I can imagine them not doing that explicitly is because he would have trouble getting through doors. Either way.
Okay, anyway, back to this freaking theory.
Yeah, sorry.
Nah, it's fine. Okay, so the whole thing is because Sienna is like a tiger, was a tiger faunus.
Basically.
You could see somewhat a resemblance of Adam being Mowgli from Jungle Book. And the tiger dies in that, so there's that. And let's say Adam is a human, but he was perhaps raised by faunus, just like Mowgli was raised by wolves.
Right.
Which would add to the whole man turning beast thing. Just like how he's meant to represent the beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Which I always kind of thought was weird.
Yeah. I mean, there's someone else I'll go into related to Beauty and the Beast. Like, a couple things, actually, but I'll wait. And
I just wanted
some... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted to say that the amount of interpretation we can take from the fairy tales the characters are based on can range from being pretty concrete to being, like, completely absurd. Well, I mean, like, when it comes to, like, Rwby herself, Little Red Riding Hood, like, yeah, I get it. And with Weiss, Snow White, it's like, well, that's a little more iffy, but, like, at the same time...
And even talking of Snow White, Klein is basically all 7 dwarfs mixed into one person.
Exactly, so I can get all that. And then we get to, like, Yang, and we're like, Goldilocks, okay, she's blonde. But, like... Goldilocks? Like, you could have gone with, like, Rapunzel. I mean, you could say Rapunzel, and basically you'd have just as much of a convincing argument.
She would literally be Rapunzel.
So now it makes no reason... Okay, see, now it makes no sense that it's supposed to be Goldilocks. Should have been Rapunzel. Then she could have made a pun about it, and it would have been funny. But when it comes to Blake being, like, Beauty and the Beast, I'm like, I guess?
I mean, she does read a lot.
I suppose? But still, it just seems like such a very loose connection.
I mean, some people have pointed out a few other characteristics that she says with Belle, but let's not like go into all of that. And I'll get into something I noticed about Beauty and the Beast connection, but with her and someone else anyway.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can talk about that later.
Anyway, so
we should finish up here.
I even noticed, like, in that scene where Adam is killing Sienna, like, right before she dies, it looked like she's reaching for his mask.
There's something under that mask.
Yeah, what if the horns are connected to the mask, or they're being held up by the mask itself?
It's possible. You're definitely right in that it seems a bit far-fetched, but at the same time, you could see it being possible.
No, I even noticed it in this chapter 5. In the hologram, like, when he went up for his mask, didn't it look like he stopped himself because he realized what he was about to do?
A little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's there.
It's there.
But honestly, I could see it going either way. Really.
Yeah.
Like, although if he turns out to actually be a human, then that makes Blake's plan to take him out of the equation that much easier.
Yeah, it really does. All you have to do is knock his mask off in that case.
Yeah, and then the White Fang is like, "You're a human the whole time?"
And then they would eat him.
Let's get him!
They would eat him.
Oh god. Now why am I picturing Adam dead, an apple in his mouth, and him being, like, put over a fire and just roasted?
I was thinking of a scene from, I don't even know. It was some zombie movie. But basically, they're just ripping him apart.
Oh, you're thinking of Shaun of the Dead?
That movie had a scene like that, too. So, that works.
Yeah. I'm surprised you've seen that.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of things that you'd be surprised that I've seen. It unnerved and like, that was a comedy, and it disturbed me at a very fundamental core and gave me nightmares. But, either way...
I still reckon it's not as good as Hot Fuzz.
No, Hot Fuzz is definitely better.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the best of that trilogy.
Absolutely, no question.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that.
We can talk about that some other day.
Maybe.
So, anything left to really talk about? We've been going for an hour.
Okay, I should go on about that whole Beauty and the Beast thing. I listened to, like, a lot of the Rwby songs, like, in the soundtrack.
Right.
By the way, the song Bumblebee in the Volume 4 soundtrack, I love it so much.
Of course you do.
And it's just a really nice song. Have you heard it?
No.
I would recommend it. I could send you a YouTube video.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of the Volume 1 and 2 songs.
Yeah, and in Red Light Roses Part 1, it's going through Red Light Roses, White is Cold, then Black, the Beast, Descends from Shadows, Yellow, Beauty.
So
you can get, like, a Beauty and the Beast reference there, it's just Yang is Beauty and Blake is the Beast.
I guess, but at the
which
same...
makes sense.
I mean, I guess, from, like, the faunus thing, but the only thing that makes her any different than a human is that she has cat ears.
Yeah, but then she also has those other, like, cat-like characteristics, like being scared of dogs, liking fish a lot.
True, I guess. Still.
And then there's the chibi stuff, like...
Okay, no, you can't bring chibi into the equation when it comes to the canon.
Well, yeah, because if we did, then Blake could defy physics.
Exactly. Okay, chibi directly and intentionally exaggerates everything by like a factor of 30.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Hell, I even thought about that when I was researching something.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna say what, but people who know me probably know what it is.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that just about wraps it all up.
Well, there's something I mentioned in the reaction I recorded, one of which I feel like I'm gonna regret.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and tell them.
Okay, so I made 2 promises in that reaction. One of them, I've seen a lot of people speculate, are Sun and Adam gonna fight at some point?
Mm-hmm.
If Sun completely kicks Adam's ass, or even kills him, I will take back anything negative I've ever said about Sun.
So, I really want to see that happen, then.
I mean, I haven't only said negative things about Sun.
I mean, you are kind of insanely critical about the guy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff he has said just rubs off in the wrong way.
I think it's just that mostly just comes off because he's a doofus.
Maybe, but as one of the thing that's like kind of the core of the issue, I won't go into too much of it, but
yeah, no, just continue with your thing. What's the other one you promised?
All right, this is the one I feel like I'm gonna regret. So we know that everyone's gonna raid the bandit camp, and I've talked about how I really want them to set up like a heist from Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like just have a board, and they've got the crew ready. So we're gonna go in this way, and they've got like this set up here. We're gonna need this for that, like like standard heist setup sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, and I'm gonna need to go into another bit of backstory here.
He has a very embarrassing gag gift given to him, and if this proves true, he will have to display it in said reaction videos. Also, I think his microphone cut off, so it's a good thing that I explained that. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe we'll do it again. I gotta go find him. Later.